Hey there guys, it is Heroes Tuesday! Yeah. And we got a new hero that came out last week, so I thought we'd go ahead and take a look at him, at his skins, which we kind of saw during the end of the video last week. The last one. Excuse me, I'm tired. Because I'm recording, this is like a few days before Heroes Tuesday that I'm recording. I'm not gonna lie. It is Heroes Tuesday that this is going out, but I went ahead and got this taken care of. Anyways, we're going to take a look at the skins again. We'll take a look at his abilities and his talents. And as we're going through the talents, we're going to take a look at a pushing build. It is not the top build on Heroes Nexus, but I like this idea of the pushing. You know, push, little cart. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at Zool. And I kind of did like a try thing with him before I actually got him. You know, like how you can try the heroes before you actually buy them. And I was like, alright, with a name like Zool, there's gotta be, right? There has to be. No, there's no Ghostbusters reference. None. Zero. Zip. Zilch. Now, I know it's spelled differently. Zool is Z-W-L, like Z-U-U-L, and this Zool is X-U-L, but it's pronounced the same way. I thought they would do it. It's like when they make Ner'zhul jokes, and there is no Necromancer, only Ner'zhul, you know? Anyways, let's look at his skins. So this is his base skin. This is what he kind of starts as. Damn it. That's the only downside. Is that when you click on him, you have to make sure you click away. Here's his master skin. And it continues the tradition of not staying the same colors throughout. That is the one thing that I don't like. That is the only thing. And then there is already a Serpent Lord skin for him as well. So this, of course, going in with Tomb of the Spider Queen and the desert one that I can never, Temple of whatever. So there you have it. That's the skins. Regular. There we go. Alright, so his abilities. He's a melee specialist with a medium difficulty, as we can see. His QWE is Spectral Scythe. It's a 45 mana cost with an 8 second cooldown. Summon a scythe that travels to you after 1 second, dealing X damage to enemies. Curse Strikes, it's a 65 mana cost and a 15 second cooldown. Your basic attacks deal damage in a wide area and reduces attack speed of enemies by 50% for 2 seconds. It lasts 4 seconds once triggered. Bone Prison has an 80 mana cost and a 12 second cooldown. After a 2 second delay, deals X damage and roots the target enemy hero for 2 seconds. And then his trait, Raised Skeleton. When a nearby enemy minion dies, it becomes a skeletal warrior that attacks for 30 or X damage and lasts up to 15 seconds. Up to 4 skeletal warriors can be active at once. And then his heroics. He has Poison Nova. It's a 100 mana cost and a 90 second cooldown. After a short delay, release poisonous missiles that deal X damage to all enemies hit over 10 seconds. And then Skeletal Mages. It's an 80 mana cost with a 70 second cooldown. Summons 4 Frost Mages in a line that attacks nearby enemies for 47 damage a second, or X damage a second. Slow them by 30% for 2 seconds and lasts up to 15 seconds. There we go. So that is his base stuff. So now let's get into this pushing build. So we shall push the little cart. So right off the bat, here is his level 1. He has Backlash. When Bone Armor expires, so level 1 basically is working on his Bone Armor. It's a passive ability, or I don't know. It's one of these things. Yeah, it's a passive ability for him, so he also has, you know, so he gets his Bone Armor, so it has one of 3 things that you can choose. You can choose Backlash. When Bone Armor expires, nearby enemy heroes take damage equal to 15% of their maximum health. Shackler, while Bone Armor is active, you slow nearby enemies by 30% for 1 second. And Shade, while Bone Armor is active, you evade all basic attacks, but increases the cooldown of Bone Armor by 10 seconds. Now that being said, with this build it says to go with Shacklers, so to freeze enemies around you. At level 4 you have Death's Reach, increases Spectral Scythe range by 20%. Jailers, Bone Prison spawns 2 skeletal warriors that fixate on the enemy for 15 seconds. These do not count towards your raised skeleton maximum. And Tragul's Essence, gain 8 mana when you raise a skeletal warrior. For the build, it says to go with Death's Reach, and this is called Ice. I apologize, I forgot to introduce the build. It's called I Smell Death by Maverick 4. I don't know. It's IV 5, 6, 4, whatever. He says to go with Death's Reach. Wow. At level 7, you have Harvest Vitality. Curse Strike heals you for 66 for each hero hit. Weaken increases Curse Strike's attack speed slow from 50% to 75. And Rothma's Blessing, raising a skeletal warrior, heals you for 66. For this build, it says to go with Harvest Vitality. At level 10, it says to go with Skeletal Mages, and we've already discussed that, so we'll move on. Level 13, we have Decrepify. Spectral Scythe slows enemies by 40% for 3 seconds. Giant's Curse. Cursed Strikes deals an additional 2% of maximum health as damage to heroes. And Corpse Explosion. An ability I missed from WoW. When skeletal warriors die, they explode for X damage in a small area. Deals 100% increased damage to non-heroic enemies. For the build, he says to go with Decrepify, or they say. At level 16, I almost said 13 again. Executioner is one that we've seen in the past, and that's actually the one that they say to go with in this build, so we're going to skip over that. Flowing Wounds reduces Spectral Scythe's cooldown by 4 seconds if you hit an enemy hero. Amplified Damage. Enemies rooted by Bone Prison become vulnerable for 2 seconds, taking 25% increased damage. And Skeleton Mastery. Increases the maximum skeletal warriors you can have to 6, and increases their damage by 100%. So like I said, they say to go with Executioner, but if you want to buck the trend, you can always take one of the others. And then last but not least, we have the level 20. If you get to this far, what should you go with? So, if you decided to take the Poison Nova instead, and you want to continue with that, you have Call of the Grave. Poison Nova deals an additional 1% of the target's maximum life as damage every second. Raised Mage, if you want to stick with the build, well, the build suggestion for the heroic, you have Raised Mage. When a nearby enemy hero dies, a Frost Mage appears from their corpse to fight for you. Also increases the slow of Frost Mages from 30 to 50%. The build says to go with Mortal Wound. Enemies hit by Spectral Scythe receive 75% less healing for 4 seconds. But if you really wanted to be different, you also have Bone Spear. It's an active ability, so it would be on your 1 or 2. Cooldown is 10 seconds, deal 200 or X damage to enemies in a line. So there you have it, guys. This is the first video of the day. There will be 2 more, as we are going to take a look at this build in a Cue the Madness with Zul. So until then, I am EctoMaster, and I will see you in the next round. I said next really weird. Next round. Next. Next.